Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Share My Read. Today I'll be doing the most anticipated releases for October, November, and December. So I'm pretty excited to get into the books today. Let's just start off with October. The first book that I'm super interested in is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This one comes out on October 6th. And this book follows Addie, who made a bargain a long time ago where she is able to live forever. But the thing is, no one will ever remember her until one day she is at some sort of bookstore and someone remembers who she is. So this book just sounds really good. I really like V.E. Schwab's writing for the most part, so I'm really excited for this one. Then the next one that I'm super interested in is The Kingdom of Sea and Stone by Mara Rutherford. This one also comes out on October 6th. This is the sequel to Crown and Pearl, and from that ending, I'm really intrigued to find out what will happen next. The first book follows these twins, these girls, who I guess like some sort of history where the prince or like the next king to be will always marry a beautiful maiden from their tiny like ocean village, and the next king is about to choose his bride. So the two of them, as well as the other girls in their village, have to kind of like compete with each other in a way to become the next queen. And so one of them ends up replacing her sister, and she gets to actually see the kingdom for the first time because of political issues. Their ocean village can never leave that ocean village. They can only stay there for their entire lives, unless of course they're chosen to be the next queen. So this one girl, she ends up getting engaged to the prince, and she's able to leave the village for the first time and see the kingdom for the first time. And of course, as the book continues, there's a lot of court politics, some romance in there as well, and the ending was just a huge cliffhanger that I am super intrigued to find out what will happen next. Then the next book that I am really excited for is Blaze Wrath Games by Ampard Ortiz. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. This one is out on October 6th. All I know is that it's an alternate contemporary world where dragons and their riders compete in an international sports tournament. I am so intrigued by this one because dragons in a contemporary setting is just something that I don't really see much of. Whenever I think of dragons, I think of fantasy or like historical kind of setting, but in a contemporary world, I'm really fascinated by that. So this book sounds really unique, and I love dragons as well, so I'm really excited for this one. Then the next one that I'm super interested in is The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This one is out on October 13th. All I know is that this is a historical fiction following witches, and I really liked her previous book, which is 10,000 Doors of January. I believe that was her debut book, and I loved it. It was so beautiful. So as soon as I realized that she had another book coming out, I was immediately like, yes, please, I am so here for this. The next book that I'm excited for that's coming out in October is Lightbringer by Claire LeGrand. This one is out on October 13th, and this is the final book in a trilogy, and I cannot wait to see what the finale is because the first two books have been fantastic. I would say the first book was way better than the second book. I feel like the second book suffered a little bit of second book syndrome, but this whole series essentially follows two queens who are separated by 1,000 years and how their lives and fates and destinies will intertwine, and it is really freaking good. So I definitely cannot wait to continue the series and just find out what ultimately happens, like what is the conclusion to this epic trilogy. And the last book that I'm excited for in October is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This one is out on October 27th. All I know is that this book follows a young witch who is seeking revenge against the one who desecrated her sister, and somehow ends up in the path of a demon called Wrath. I don't know, but this book sounds super intriguing, and I haven't read any of her books before, but I've heard amazing things about her writing, her story, her characters, that I saw this book, and this also the cover is stunning, can I just say, and I am a huge cover person. So yeah, I'm definitely intrigued by this one. Now moving on to my November books. Honestly, I feel like October, November, December for the most part don't have that many books coming out that I'm super interested in. I only have books for October, November, and December actually I have 0 books. Like there are 0 books on there that I was like super amped up for, but there are some books for November. Let's just get right on to my November books. So the first one that I'm excited for is called These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This one is out on November 17th. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in I think the 1920s in Shanghai, with rival gangs and some sort of like monster hidden in the Huangpu River. I never thought of Romeo and Juliet being in a Shanghai retelling kind of setting, but it sounds intriguing, and I'm all about own voices, so I am here for this. Then the next one that I'm sure a lot of people are excited for as well is The Burning Gods by R.F. Kuang. This one is also out on November 17th. And this is another one where it's the final book in a trilogy, and I just read the first one, which is The Poppy War, recently, and it was so good. I loved it. It's basically about a girl, her name is Rin, and she decides to take an exam that is really hard, and it's basically only for the rich and the elite, but she managed to surprise everyone in the kingdom by acing the exam and being able to have a place in the most elite military academy. And of course things happen from there. There's shamanism, there's magic, there are gods, there's war, there's romance, and it is all over the place, but it is so flipping good. And yeah, I definitely cannot wait to continue the series. I still want to read the second book soon, hopefully, but I'm debating about waiting until this one comes out so I can just binge read the rest of the series. But I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But honestly, I read the first book and it was so good, like so good, guys. Then the next book that I'm super grateful to have a copy of is Super Fake Love Song by David Yoon. This one is out on November 17th, and this is the sequel to Frankly in Love. I actually did a whole reading vlog on it, so I'll link that above. Unfortunately though, this book actually does not revolve around Frank and his relationship. That was definitely like finished in the first book, but this book follows a guy called Sunny Day who meets Sirius So, and all I know that there is a lot of music kind of situations going on in here. Then the next one that I'm super excited for is Ruin Song by Julia Ember, and this one is out on November 24th. So this is an LGBTQ plus romantic fantasy where it follows two women who come from rival factions and they must end up working together to reunite their country. This is another one that I definitely cannot wait to read. But the next one that I'm sure a lot of people are also really excited for as well is How the King of Elheim Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. This one is out on November 24th. This is basically a novella short story collection that follows Cardan when he was a child, so before he became a cruel prince or a wicked king. And guys, I just need more Cardan in my life. I really hope there's a spin-off series, to be honest, something like, you know, like 10 years in the future, but I just don't know if that's gonna happen. So all I can do is read this book and hopefully that satisfies my Cardan obsession, guys. Then the last book that I'm really excited for is one that came as a shock because I didn't even know that there was gonna be a sequel to this, and that is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. This one comes out on November 24th, and this is a sequel to Ready Player 1, guys. I didn't know this was gonna be a sequel, guys, like period. So I am definitely interested to find out like what the sequel is. I looked for a description, but there was no description. I think the author was like, this is gonna be super, like, I think the author wanted to be mysterious or something like that because I couldn't find anything about it. And this book is a sequel to Ready Player 1, which is basically a book about virtual reality and gaming, and it was really good. It's in an audiobook, which I highly recommend as well. But I have no idea what this one's gonna be about, so I'm gonna assume it continues along the line of that, but for the details I have no idea. Either way though, I'm definitely interested to find out what's going to be in this book because I didn't even know that this was going to be a thing, but apparently it's a thing, guys. So yeah, I'm excited for it as well. So anyways, these are all the books I'm really excited for that's coming out in October, November, and December. I mean, really at this point it's really just October, November, because December, like I said already, had 0 books I am super hyped up for. But that's fine, guys. I have so many books I need to continue reading right now and just catch up on. I am really behind. Just generally speaking, I really haven't read that much recently, or like I have, but like it's just not up to the same standard as I used to read, like the pace I was going at before. But anyways, that's it in terms of this video. Let me know down below which books are you most excited for that's coming out in October, November, or if you have any ones in December, guys, let me know down below as well. Maybe I missed something and there's a huge book that I'm like, wow, how did I miss this? Let me know down below as well. But as always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.